Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Camp K12 TV. Today, the students are going to do something different and something new. For that, I am going to call upon Jesha, and she will be the one telling you what is in store for us.
Thank you, Ravina, for the wonderful introduction. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Camp K12 TV live program today. Now, today's program is very, very special because we bring to you 12 absolutely wonderful students who have written their own poems, and not just that, they're going to be reciting it in front of us today. Now, to give you a little more insight about what is in store for all of us today, so the variety of poems that our young Camp K12 students today will be presenting are sure to incite different emotions in the hearts of our audience, because the variety of topics that we have in store with abstract concepts like beauty, nature, discrimination, Iron Man, and a lot of other things have given our poets a sense of voice and a way to express themselves in a much more better manner, and it has also enabled them to think very carefully about subject matters. For example, say the significance of beauty in our lives, the significance of a simple umbrella, an Iron Man, animals, and it has also helped them to focus on their language, grammar, and styles. Well, these poets have consciously or subconsciously used different styles of writing. They have used different figures of speech, including onomatopoeia, including metaphors, and I think all of those have made their poems very, very creative and very, very dynamic. And I speak for myself when I say, even when I interacted with them, it was truly amazing and it was a mind blowing experience. That's because their poems are just 20% of what goes on in their mind, and their creativity level is sure to stun all of you watching it. And speaking of which, it has also encouraged them to reflect on their surroundings and give their perspective in their own unique way. Now, I think it is only fair for all the audience to see for themselves what our 12 poets have for us. So I think without any further ado, I'd like to call upon our first poet. She is Grishma, and she will be presenting her poem on a topic which is around us, yet we may fail to see it from the lens Grishma here is going to show it to us. So Grishma, can you please present your poem for our audience right here?
It is often said that beauty lies in the eyes of the beholder. Yet, beauty is not the end goal of life, nor is it a way of living. Hello, my name is Grishma. I'm from Bangalore, and today I'll be presenting my satire, A Beautiful Queen. It is rightly said that beauty goes deeper than the surface, and my poem covers the underlying theme that how pride and jealousy have the ability to ruin everything. The reason why I chose to write on this topic is because I think the deadly sins are quite interesting and there are a lot of different ways to write about it. So here it goes. Once there was a queen, a pretty one indeed. Fiona was her name, and a beautiful life did she lead. She was honest and never boasted about her beauty, but one of the deadly sins decided to make her snooty. Alas, the poor queen began to wonder if she was the most beautiful. What a blunder! Fiona thought that she was the prettiest ever and that she would remain that way forever. She soon got married to a handsome prince. Her pride grew stronger ever since. He praised her every day on her looks and wealth, but day by day decreased her health. Years crept by. The queen grew older. She thought she was still beautiful. Beauty lies in the eyes of the beholder. It was then that a maid, Julia, arrived. She was like a flower, with beauty she thrived. The queen's jealousy grew day by day, even though Julia was like a sunshine ray, eager to please and eager to serve, often with a quiet and shy reserve. The queen had many enemies indeed, and one day there came a king on his steed. The battle there was fought with wrath. The battlefield was soon a bloodbath. Soon there was a sword in the queen's side, and the fight turned like the tide. Julia arrived like an angel in disguise and saved the queen. Gone was all vice. Though at first they disliked each other, they slowly bonded, becoming like mother and daughter. Fiona made her the kingdom's heir, and in her reign she ruled kindly and with care. Thank you.
Well, thank you so much, Grishma. I thought that poem was so well written, and that's because we all read of fairy tales every now and then. But how often is it that we write a poetry on it? And especially when we say, and someone heard it says that beauty is something that goes deeper than the surface, and how jealousy and pride ruins things in such a poetic manner has truly stunned me, and I'm sure our audience as well. Moving on to our next poet, who has written about something which we might see as a way to protect us from the heat or rain. But Udantika here has definitely found a different meaning to how an umbrella is used. So, Udantika, please share a wonderful poem with us.
Hello everyone, I'm Adantika from Bangalore. Today I shall be presenting a poem that I have written called The Umbrella. It tells us about how, even during the hardest times, we're never alone and that there is always someone with us. I got this idea from the show Miraculous Ladybug. It taught me that everything in life has significance. This motivated me to write about the beautiful synchronization of the rain, and as you must have guessed by my prop behind me and the title, a simple umbrella. The umbrella. Oh, umbrella, shelter me as the rain cleanses my heart, makes me feel free. Oh, umbrella, hide my fear as the rain reveals how I truly feel. Umbrella, umbrella, cover me from thy sadness and fear, the storm coming towards me. Please, umbrella, keep me dry, for when the floods arrive, you shall help me thrive. Dear umbrella, shield my soul from the suffering and harm, the scorching heat. Oh, umbrella, shelter this world. We may make mistakes, mistakes will be made, but promise you'll stay awake by me, protecting me from the harm of heat. Keep me dry, keep me safe, leave me be in myself with grace. Help me, shield me, protect me from the pain. Help the rain transform me. Help it turn over to a new leaf. Help me make that conscious choice that heals the scars of my pain and joys. As to the umbrella in my dreams, give me an omen, a sign and a way. Give me that tiny ray of hope and faith. Give me that push to dream and jump high into the sky, into the clouds above. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Udantika. And I thought that was one very, very unique way of presenting your thoughts on an umbrella. Well, the next poet that we have has chosen to do something unconventional. So we've all seen children talking about things like social issues, including gender discrimination. But how often is it that we come across someone who chooses to write about this injustice in the form of a poem? Well, I think let's welcome our next poet with a big round of applause, Parvati, who is here to talk about a very, very important social issue, which is gender discrimination. Parvati, please share your poem with us.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Parvati and I live in Kolkata. When I was told to write my own poem, I thought, why not write about something that creates an impact? There is one social issue that has always bothered me: gender discrimination, the way men and women are treated differently. Even though we are in the 21st century, yet gender discrimination is something that still is present in almost everywhere in the world. Through the medium of my poem, I wish to bring about a change. Here is my poem. Boys and girls are equal. They are the same species of mankind. This may be a renowned sequel. There is a solution we may find. Unequal is somewhat a crime. Let girls study in their prime time. Let equality be your buddy. Discrimination is like a worm, a parasite sucking the progress of earth, there is no doubt. Whoever thinks this is correct, they are very wrong. We all are the same, just a little different. What is so wrong with girls that you refuse to let them learn and let them earn? There are no limits to success if we all do our part. We can reach the top. We share a bond that can take us beyond. But only if we try, we all can fly. We can reach heights where no one has gone before. We are one. Is that so wrong? Thank you.
Very well done, Parvati. Indeed, you have written a poem which is an eye-opener for a lot of people, I guess. Really a very wonderful poem. Now, moving ahead, I would like to call Akshaya on stage. Akshaya, please come up and present your poem.
Hello everyone, good evening. I am Akshay Krishnaswamy. I currently study in grade 7 and I belong to Mumbai. I'm here to present a free verse to you all. It is a type of poetry that does not follow a regularized meter or rhyme scheme. It has no rules, no patterns to follow. Some of the poets who wrote in free verse are Ezra Pound, Emily Dickinson, and Walt Whitman, among others. The free verse I'm going to present today is called Mr. Malpani and the Forest Animals. Mr. Malpani and the Forest Animals. In a city in eastern India is a forest as vast as the sea. It was as noisy as the midday Mumbai traffic, unlike any forest you must have ever seen. In the forest were the foxes, squirrels, bears, reindeers, skunks, rabbits, and turtles. After a good night's rest, the animals shouted and waited anxiously to greet each other, as though they had something very important to share. At the same time, Mr. Malpani was in a meeting, but he could still hear the flaring noises. Apologizing to the guest, he left to see the ruckus. When he had arrived, the scene was itself tiring to look at. Animals running, playing, tackling each other. All the cawing, roaring, raspy barking had got into his brain. Thinking of what to do about it, he was out of ideas, so he left. When he returned back, he said, the forest at this time is a fish market. Such an embarrassment. All the years of training and training. Oh, what a shame. They all laughed at the statement. But little did Mr. Malpani knew of what the future held. The next day, the news was in. It said, Mr. Malpani and his wife were kidnapped last night. No evidence except claw marks were found. Thank you.
Hey, Akshaya. Well, I wanted to ask you a question looking at your poem. What was your motivation to write this poetry?
I was motivated to write this poem because of my love for mystery stories. And as it was a free verse, I was able to convey a suspenseful story into the lines of a poem. And I was very proud of the result.
Indeed, I can see that. Now, would you like to tell me why did you select to write in a free verse?
I chose free verse because as in free verse, it is not necessary to rhyme. So it gave me the advantage to write a genre of poem that I've never written before. And because of that, I enjoyed it.
Yes, Akshaya, of course you enjoyed it. And I'm very sure our audience also enjoyed as we heard such a beautiful poem written by you. Okay, now next I would like to call Mithali. Mithali, please come up and tell us your poem.
Hello everyone, good evening. I am Mithali and I study in grade 7. I am from Bangalore. Today, I would like to present a satire. A satire is a work of art or writing which is used to criticize a person, government, or institution. It includes mocking, verbal irony, sarcasm, and exaggeration. Today, I will be presenting a satire on the topic reduce its usage. reduce its usage. You all know what phones are, a small handheld device. It works everywhere, close or far. It's very useful and nice. But nowadays, the situation is changing and people are becoming so dependent on it that the condition of some is worsening. And looking at it forever, they aren't able to quit. It deteriorates our eyesight. It reduces our concentration. We all know what we are doing is not right, yet we all ignore because of our temptation. These days, kids are getting so addicted due to some apps and games installed in it. But if any sooner they are not restricted, then in the future they might have to regret it. Whatever I have said is not the unknown. You will understand if you are clever. Start reducing the usage of phone because it is now or never. Thank you.
Amazing work, Mithali. Very truly said through your poem that how we are being taken away by the excessive usage of mobile phones. I think we should think about it, how to reduce its usage. Thank you so much. Now I would next like to call Leher.
A very good evening to everyone present here. I am Leher Sanavne. I currently study in 7th grade and I'm from Bangalore. I'm here to present a sonnet to you all. A sonnet is a 14-line poem with a rhyme scheme. There are 3 types of sonnets: Spenserian, Petrarchan, and Shakespearean sonnet. The Shakespearean sonnet is named after Shakespeare not because he invented it, but because he's the most famous writer of this type of sonnet.
Okay, Leher. Would you like to tell me what was your motivation to write this poem?
I have chosen to recite this poem because, in my point of view, the purpose of this poem is to get to people's attention on such a sensitive matter on how people are treated differently from one another. This is why the poem is called On Discrimination. On discrimination. What do you teach your young ones today? Telling them things like inequality is okay. World is not very cool when we still have inequality in our school. Our society segregates the black from the whites, the Asian, Latinus, Indian, and the other tribes. Anyone that enters our country can be put under arrest by asking questions like, whose race is the best? Why don't we put inequality to test? Because are we supposed to be equal and better than the rest? All we have to do is stop discrimination and ask yourself the question, why do we do this? Are men actually different from women? Is this difference made only because of their appearance? Women can do anything a man can do. Who made this difference? Isn't it high time to stop this? Why is a bro different from a cis? As long as poverty, injustice, and inequality persist, none of us can truly rest. Thank you.
Well, thank you, Leher. And I think, as claimed before, I said that the poets here aren't just going to write about simple topics, but about serious issues that they see around us. And I think through the medium of a poetry, Leher has raised some very, very serious questions. And thus, I think there is an immediate need to stop discrimination right now. Well, moving on. The next poem that we have is very closely related to today's topic. I'm sure that there are many of us who have always thought of writing a poem, yet there's something holding us back. Well, Sri Lakshmi here is there to help us out with that by simply telling us that all you need is a pen and a paper and the right amount of determination. So, Sri Lakshmi, can you please share with our audience and inspire them to write their own poems?
Hello everyone, my name is Sri Lakshmi and I'm class 8. I'm from Chennai. A few months ago I did something I never thought I could do. Write my own poem. Like most of you, even I thought that writing a poem would require something extraordinary. But in my poetry class, I learned that all you need is a pen and a paper and the right amount of determination. I have written a sonnet on poetry, and this one is for all those who have always wanted to write their own poem, yet have been holding back. The message that I would like to give through this is be fearless and believe in yourself. On poetry, a poem is written by all. Everyone has a poet in them. Writing is your call. Every poem is a gem. It is like a crystal gate that unfolds quietly when you understand it. It is a part of you that you keep. From you, it will never split. When I wrote my first song, I couldn't think of anything to say, but I knew I could sing it along with nothing to pay. Everyone has a poet in him or her. With each poem you compose, it gets better. Thank you.
Well, thank you, Sri Lakshmi, for sharing your journey in such a poetic manner and giving all of us the message that it is possible and only if you try and try can you successfully write your own poem. Well, moving on to our next poet who has chosen to write about something that all of us see, yet only a few of us think of writing a poem on. So I would now like to invite Thanish to present his very, very descriptive poem. Over to you, Thanish.
Hi, my name is Tanish Krishna. I am studying in grade 6. I am from Chennai, Tamil Nadu. Writing my own poem gave me a sense of accomplishment and made me feel good. I have thoroughly enjoyed my experience and it has taught me so much. Today, I am going to present a free verse on animals. The reason why I chose to write on animals is simply because I find them very interesting and they never fail to amuse me. Green crocodile gobbling at the sky, tall giraffe gracefully walking by, big fat elephant with a bubbly stomach, small rabbit successfully breaking the nut, fatty pelicans flying with their friends as it sends messages, white birds flying with a big fat beak, confused owl standing in the peak, greedy lion lying on the grass with the cats, bamboo eating panda with a big mouth burping aloud. The red rhino jumps around with its sharp horn. Thirsty hippo drinking cold water with laughter. Fearless deer running in the farmland. Giraffe eating the grassland. Yellow snake sneaking around and hissing aloud. Hungry crocodile yawning in the summer sun. Beautiful animals make little boys and girls laugh aloud as they walk around with funny sounds. Thank you.
Amazing job, Tanish. Thank you for showing us the beauty of animals. I'm very sure people will now look at animals the way you made us see. Thank you. Now I would like to call Alia. Alia, please come up.
Hello everyone. My name is Alia and I study in grade 4. I belong to Bangalore. I would like to present a lyric today. It is called All About Nature. One day I was walking to school when a breeze hit me and it was cool. It was from the nature and it had a different feature. I could see some birds and they didn't know any words. There were some trees which had many fleas. I saw some plants on the other side. They were hiding behind a slide. Oh no! What do I see there? There is pollution almost everywhere in the fair. So I thought if the pollution will harm the air. Yes, it will. I then took good care of the air in the fair. The sun's shining brighter than light. The sun vanishes in the night. The wind's howling and the flowers are blooming. Let's not be antisocial to nature, to save ourselves and little creatures.
Okay, Alia. Now this brings me to the question, what made you write this poem?
The reason why I chose to write this poem is because I see people polluting the earth and it is becoming unsafe every single day because of this. I wrote a poem to spread awareness that the earth will die one day if this continues. I also wrote this poem because I want everyone to stop polluting and start planting.
Thank you so much, Alia. Such a beautiful way to show nature. We saw it through your eyes. Thank you. I would next like to call Nathan.
Good evening, I'm Nathan. I study in grade 4th and I'm from Kerala. Today I would like to present a ballad. A ballad is a poem that tells a story, usually in 4-line stanzas called quatrains. Ballads are the most ancient of all literary forms. The ballad I am going to present today is called The Iron Man.
Okay, Nathan. What was your motivation to write this poem?
I like Iron Man. He is my favorite Marvel superhero, and I thought I can write more when I choose what I like.
And why did you choose to write a ballad?
Ballad poems are fun because I like refrains. I wanted to write my own refrain.
Okay.
I'll now start my poem, The Iron Man. There once lived a man who could do things no one else can. He was the bravest man. His name was Iron Man. He was very helpful and the people were very thankful. He had a bolting fast speed and he was the fastest man indeed. His name was Iron Man. No one knew who he was, but he fought for a good cause. He was always right and never got into unnecessary fights. His name was Iron Man. He had an iron suit, but he looked pretty cute. He liked the color red. He would still help people even if he was in bed. His name was Iron Man. He was very strong and his list of achievements was very long. He was someone who would never stop trying, even if he was on the verge of dying. His name was Iron Man. Thank you.
Wow, Nathan, I thought that was absolutely stunning. Now, we've all seen people writing letters to Iron Man, but Nathan here decided to write a poem for Iron Man. And if only if Iron Man could hear that poem, I'm sure he would be very, very proud of you too. Well, moving on to our next poet here. We all appreciate nature's beauty, but Afrida here has actually written a very, very beautiful poem on nature. Afrida, can you please share your poem with our audience?
Hi, my name is Afrida and I live in Tamil Nadu. When I was told that I will get a chance to write my own poem, I jumped with excitement. Today, I'm going to read my sonnet on nature and its wonders. Every morning, I have a wonderful day with birds singing over roots and trees, every bird flying and turning my way. It's nice to watch them and have tea. A butterfly flies fluttering her feathers. It's nice to see her natural color. I like to see the water run to the rivers. Fishes jump and dive in different watercolor. A flower opens their wonderful sight with big and small flower combined. Every flower shows their natural light, and other kinds of flower will be blind. I like to live in this world full of pleasure, and my life indulged in this kind of treasure. Thank you.
Thank you, Afrida. That truly was a wonderful treasure, even your poem, and a very, very beautiful way to present nature and an underlying message for all of us to also protect nature. Well, I think last but not the least, the next poem that we have is sure to give all of us goosebumps because Afra here has decided to write on the rumor of something particular which we all may have heard. So let's see what Afra has to share with us.
Good evening, everyone. I am Afra from Tamil Nadu, and writing my own poem was an experience that I cannot put into words. I like to experiment with different types of poetry, and today I will be presenting a poem on the rumor of Bloody Mary. I'm sure many of you must have heard this haunted, mysterious tale before. I was absolutely intrigued by it and decided to write a poem on it. The rumor of Bloody Mary. Mary lived with a cruel family, where she lived quite unhappily. One day, she pricked her finger. She sucked blood and found herself prettier. She crawled inside and waited, then began to drink blood of people. Everyone was frozen, and the name Mary became Bloody Mary and turned evil. Fear drove everyone. They called the saint, but she's a continuer. She sucked blood and found herself prettier. So beware whenever you are left alone. And remember, she sucked blood and found herself prettier. Thank you.
Well, thank you so much, Afra. And indeed, to write about something that still gives jitters to most of us was truly amazing and truly brave. Well, and there couldn't be any better end to today's show than the lovely poem that you just shared with us. Well, with that, it's a wrap, and we come to an end to today's program. And I'd just like to highlight this point once again that all the poems that you heard, all 12 poems, were written by the children themselves, and the way they've written them and the way they've presented them and the sparkle in their eyes with the sense of accomplishment that they have with the poems that they've written. And I think the way they've made themselves proud, they've made their parents proud, and they've made everyone here at Camp K12 proud is truly, truly a sight to behold. And the way they've communicated it with all of us is what the art of communication is all about. Shreya ma'am, what did you think of the poem?
Yes, it was very nice. All of their efforts have been reflected right now. And yes, you pointed it out correctly, Jasha ma'am, that all of them have written their poems by themselves. This is one biggest thing. I really loved it. Thank you so much, all of you.
Well, I think before we bid one final goodbye, I'd like to invite all the poets on the screen so the audience can see the lovely faces behind the very, very talented poems that they've just heard. So can we all, a big, big thank you to our audience for watching, and can we all say a big goodbye to our audience?
Thank you. Bye.